Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently Monday, January 2nd, 2012, and this is the third part to SC2 Year's resolutions. We are at the first daily of 2012. Yes! And we're all talking about what we want to do for the new year. For instance, Spacey G4 says, my resolution is to play more than one game in a row without cheesing. Which is kind of an interesting issue that permeates for all time, where when you stop one base cheesing, then you get into the habit of doing two base timing pushes, and then you get in the habit of doing three base timing pushes, to the point where you're actually just finding a moment where you can win and shoving everything into that. What I want you to do is, action item. Hell, I want you to pick a point way in the future and say, I want to win over there. I will only win games when I have Broodlords. I will only win games when I have 6 or more Colossus. That's the only time I will ever go attack him, is once I am there or farther. I will only ever try to attack my opponent directly when I have 4 bases. All great things to do to help extend it on longer. Yeah, what are some other resolutions? Yeah. Bulzor says he wants to build up enough courage to play one game a day. How about every time there's a daily, you always play a game right after the daily? Again, don't just wait for the motivation and courage to appear. Seize it by the cojones and do it with some other activity. Every day after breakfast, I'm going to play a game of StarCraft. I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to go running, shower, I'm going to play 5 games before work starts. Make it part of the day schedule so it's just something you do rather than something that you are trying to feel motivated to do. Yeah. I'm gonna And TWR Dark Dream says, my New Year's resolution is to find some SC2 buddies to play with. I want to extend this to say, you absolutely must get someone who is your StarCraft 2 buddy for 2012. And you know what you should do with your buddy? You should share each other's replays, and in particular, say what you really like. I cannot tell you how unbelievably important this is. Let me tell you a little story about me. Once upon a time, 2 days ago, I was trying to ladder, and I played a lot of games that day. And there was one point where I lost 7 games in a row in the same matchup. And I was getting really frustrated. And I was feeling like, ugh, I suck. Fortunately, my friend Tristan is awesome, and I sent him the games, and he said, oh no, you're actually playing pretty good in these games. I actually think that you were just on a losing streak and thought you were doing worse than you were. And I was like, really? And thanks to him, I went back and watched, and I played pretty shitty in some of them. But it helped give me perspective on what I was doing well and what I wasn't doing well. And who doesn't love having a friend tell them they're awesome? Speaking of which, you're awesome. Yeah. All right, let's hop in here to Chief Banjo. Yeah, Chief Banjo, who is a Diamond Terran player who says that he has been trying to play on the Europe server, where most players go for Colossus and that sort of thing. But his goal is to be able to beat the Zealot Archon that has been on EU so much that NA players seem a little bit easy peasy. Now, Chief Banjo is going to do an interesting opening, and that was one of the openings that he had a question on for this particular little email struggle bear thing. Chief Banjo is going to open up with the Puma-style huge amount of barracks when he expands. He is just trying this out. Now, let me describe this in the context of you trying any build in any matchup with any race. You will have the mindset of other builds when you do this new build. If you always play defensively, and suddenly you're doing a very aggressive build, like this one, you're going to say to yourself, ooh, I better not attack here. Ooh, I better stay back and stay home and freak out. Don't do that. Get aggressive. Also, let me just state that don't over-obsess about hiding stuff. Build this command center right there, because there's your expansion. I mean, no matter how well you're hiding it, that is just way far away. I'm not actually that worried about that one, though. even though this will make the longest journey. It'll make a journey so incredible it'll take 90 minutes, and Disney will do a special piece about it, and you'll cry because you'll rewatch it every single Christmas, and you just won't believe that it managed to finally make its way home. So lovely. So Chief Banjo is doing the usual opening. Oh yes, he's going one barracks. He's adding on a few more, but here comes the extra barracks. Oh my goodness. Now Chief Banjo, he's going to have some questions for the later on that we're going to come to. For the start though, we want to talk about this opening that he's doing, this new opening. I'm going to tell you something that you'll do. In the new year, you will be trying to explore all sorts of new build orders with all sorts of weird and wacky timings you never thought and experienced before. I'm going to tell you how you're going to mess it up. I'm going to tell you, because everyone does it. You do it, I do it, you've done it, I've done it. Most people will experience this like 100% of the time when they try a new build. And that is the following. The most common mistake when you get a new build is to try to do everything too quickly. Everything. So, let's go through them as quickly as we can in many examples. In this very build where we are making a bunch of barracks to build Marines, we're going to try to get our gas geysers up really fast and get the factory up really fast. And then afterwards, we're going to try to get all our upgrades up really super quickly. Or if you're a Protoss player and you normally don't go air units, but you decide you want to go air units, you're going to build your starport way too early. Or even build too many starports. Stargates too early. Excuse me. You're going to way cut probes because you're trying to build things so early on. Don't do any of those. Slow it down. Slow it down. Let's go ahead and watch. Let's watch it in action. For those of you in the new year trying out new builds, watch what can happen. We have 5 barracks. I'm going to ask the obvious question. What do you want to do with 5 barracks fast? Well, if I'm getting 5 barracks fast, I want to build Marines out of them. Right? Seem to make sense? I'm actually going to turn the health bars on over here so we can see everything, just so I can make sure we can see the production tab on all these. I'm going to select all these. Whoops, one is not producing. It looks like a little bit of a misclick, but we still have the money to be able to do that. I will tell you very honestly, in terms of general macro, this costs a lot of money to produce out of 5 barracks. So we have all the bars above them, because I turned on the hit point bars. And down here we even have the Marines available to be viewed in terms of what's being built. So everything's so far so good. Taking an expansion. The incredible journey finally ends with nearly crushing 2 innocent Protoss units. But now look here. Oh no, we're not building Marines. Oh no. Semi-understandable because we were in a micro battle here, but look down here. Look down here. You see 3 white dots. Or hell, these 3 bars. And then, there's 2 bars. And then you're noticing, look at that. We're building our gas a little too early. We're trying to go fast, and we can't afford to build out of all 3 of these. We're also a little bit supply blocked, so we get unsupply blocked. Okay, cool. So now we build these. Notice we don't have enough money to build out of these 3 because we're trying to do a little bit too much too soon. Look at what else is going on here. Yep, you're starting to get the theme. Oh, come on, build. Yeah. All right, now we're starting to build a little bit more, but suddenly we're running low on... Oh, wow, we're getting these 2 geysers a little bit too early. And we're getting these tech labs. Look at these guys. We're not building out of them. Tech labs finish. We could probably afford to finally do a round and do some upgrades. We're going to go ahead and get the reactors here. But again, we're getting reactors we couldn't make out of all 5 barracks. We couldn't make 5 Marines at a time. Suddenly, we're going to try to be making 8 Marines at a time. That's a lot more. Cool. Happens literally with everybody whenever they try to do a new build. And what I would say is slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down in the new year. Man, it's 2012. Take it easy. Slow it down. Also, here is one of your old sensibilities that will creep in when you are doing 3 barracks and expanding. You're a defender. You are not going to go crazy and attack. But when you go for 5 barracks, what's the word? Yeah, it's time to go bear shit. It's time to do some early attacks. Yeah! if you are doing a new build order, ask yourself if there are some attack timings that you could exploit. Here we go. Here we go. It's time to attack. Why? Because, hell, in my army tab, we're doing quite well in the unit tab. A zealot, 2 stalkers, and 2 sentries. Well, that does certainly lose to 13 marines. If you can control it properly, you might not be able to win it outright, but you're going to pick off the sentries, get their energy low, and you're going to be reinforcing with 5 frickin' marines at a time. I just opened up this tab and I didn't want to. Excellent. See, we're seeing Chief Banjo. He's being passive. Oh, Banjo, you beautiful Diamond Terran player, you. That was one of the issues that he talked about. The opening felt a little bit bumpy. I'm going to kill these health bars as they are aesthetically unpleasing. And let's talk about what Chief Banjo does well. Chief Banjo, the Diamond Terran player, deciding to test his mettle on the EU servers, an inspiration. He didn't even hit Masters on North American, and he just said, you know what? I want to see what is going on elsewhere in the world. Yes, bold. Love it. Love it. Opening up the production tab because it has useful information on it. Per usual, one of the most common things to experience is when you decide to go for an attack, and I would strongly recommend waiting for Combat Shield to finish because this 7-second period ends up being quite brutal. There, Combat Shield's now done. Chief Banjo goes for an attack. Kaboom, kablooey, Cthulhu? I don't know. He just loses a lot of things. But still, not to be deterred, Chief Banjo continues to produce his heart out. And he said that he wasn't quite sure how to deal with this unit mixture, this Archon Zealot. Also, this command center I would honestly prefer it to be here. But look at what Chief Banjo does that's brilliant. He moves his army in a position so that his command center is behind. There's a reason Chief Banjo is Diamond. He is getting the good unit movement up. These upgrades are just bursting forth. They're bursting forth. But it's time to be a little bit more aggressive. Chief Banjo, action item for you Diamond players. Now, I'm going to say something that many of you New Year's resolution, bronze, silver, gold leaguers will be listening to right now. But I want you to cover your ears. What I want to say to Chief Banjo is, with your army, be more active with it. This army, I want this army trying to move through here. I want it moving around through this area. Because the worst thing that happens if he ends up spotting us is we run away. The only case where we'd really be worried is if he had blink stalkers. The rest of the time, we can pretty much escape with our nimble Marine Marauder Medevac force. So be more active, be more aggressive, step out into the field with it, and seize up some map control. Now, if you are bronze, silver, gold, even a lot of platinums, probably won't have the APM to be able to move around. Probably will not have the proper control to step out into the middle. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just work on something else. Just get your macro up really solid. Pick the right composition of units that you really enjoy. Pick some openings that you think are fun and do those. Start winning. And then all of a sudden you'll hit a point where you'll say, oh, hey, I'm pretty fast. I actually don't have anything left to do in my base. I can actually hit all my timings on my macro. I'm attacking at a good time. I'm building all my SCVs. I guess I can be moving my army around. Boom. Welcome to the Diamond League. Yeah. You don't have to try to take on skills of Grandmasters if you are nowhere close to there. I still remember, guys remember a game called StarCraft Brood War? Yeah. I had a friend who was trying to learn Brood War for the first time ever. Literally, it was 2008, and he had never played Brood War before. But he wanted to play because he was in the Collegiate Star League. And he wanted to play for his team. And what he asked me to do was to teach him how to have Dragoons kill spider mines without observers. Where you step forward, you stutter forward, the mine pops, and you hit hold position, and it shoots down the mine. It's like actually impossible to do. That's far harder than splitting Marines versus Banelings. for any of you people who didn't play Brood War. And he asked me how to do that. And I said, I'm not telling you, just build probes and units and go kill him, right? That's so much more, that's not only more important, but will help you improve faster and help you learn faster. Don't worry about all this sexy shit like moving an army around. Remember, if you're bronze, silver, or gold, I want you to keep that money low, and every 5 minutes, starting at the 10-minute mark, I want you to go bear shit. And I want you to start attacking. Yeah! Helping everybody. Chief Banjo is continuing to make a lot of barracks. He's getting his upgrades slammed out. He isn't getting Mobius Reactor, but Chief Banjo, it's time to get a little bit aggressive. Let's look at his hotkey setup. Well, it looks like he doesn't have the ghosts as part of that quite yet. Yeah, there they are. Ghosts popping into 2 and 3. Love this hotkey setup. This hotkey setup is beautiful. Continuing to drop up at the top side. He had some drops coming in here. And actually, if we look at the number of workers that Chief Banjo has killed, a paragon of harassment he is. 36 workers killed. One more thing that I want to note is one of the biggest barricades to Diamonders stepping ahead. Workers. Only 60 workers. Only 3 were killed. That means that he had 62 workers total built this whole game. If I even rewind to the 16-minute mark, we see 53 workers out. Jax, the enemy, is building a lot more probes than we are. Many, many more probes than we are. So, honestly, I think Chief Banjo should be able to take a solid win here. If he was able to, or he should have been able to take a win much earlier with all those extra SCVs, getting him all that extra income. But either way, Chief Banjo. Now, Chief Banjo, we see, tries to step up, tries to hit the EMPs, but of course, I was at ×8 speed and everyone missed everything. So let's go ahead and rewind it. Alright, now I'm playing. Cool. He has them all here. Let's count the EMPs. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Cool. Now, here is suddenly something that I would say to Diamond Leaguers and Master Leaguers, but generally not to someone else. Get a practice partner and reenact this battle 10 times in a row. Let's look at this battle, right? We had clear numbers of various unit types. We engaged in battle, and it was an interesting battle, but it looks like the Terran was barely able to survive. If this were your buddy, what I would want you to do in the new year, I would be delighted if you would be so kind as to have Jax rebuild an army, Banjo rebuild an army, and then re-engage. And I'm not talking try to kill each other. I'm talking like just, alright dude, back off, back off, back off. There's a really fun game you can play where Terran builds a depot here, Protoss builds a pylon here, and you start your army by your respective supply structure, and then you just try to kill it off. And you'll be in good shape. It's a really, really fun way to practice, because then you can actually keep count. And you can end up with some pretty hilarious situations. I would also note that I would say that Chief Banjo is doing approximately the correct thing. Getting a lot of ghosts, doing all these battles correctly. He needs to be more active with that army, but you know what, Chief Banjo? Just keep practicing. You can do all the correct moves, but miscontrol it a little bit, which is what I think happened to those ghosts. We counted not as many EMPs as we would have liked. And at the same time, 50 workers, that will always hold you back. Now, I want to briefly do one more Masters player. Well, it's a little bit of a long part 3, but you know what? It's the new year, whatever. It's UNC Jur versus Nyquipandane. Let's talk a little bit about the Master Protoss UNC Jur. He wants to hit Grandmaster, baby. Or top 3 at a live StarCraft 2 event. Now, UNC Jur is going to do something that is... Well, first of all, he's going to be happy. Isn't that great? Look, he's so happy. Be happy in the new year. Look, already some friendly dialogue. Are you Firebad Hero? Come on, tell me you've played Brood War. Tell me you know that one. Now, here's something interesting. Listen to the question that UNC Jur has written to me. He says He ends up winning this game, but he's so worried about all the things that could happen to him before the 7-minute mark. I'm on the UNC Jur cam. Here we come. He's going to move on in. Boom. He sees no gas, and then he sees Zerg take a gas. He is blocking his expansion. He's checking all around. Looks like some pausing goes on. So, gosh, some more happy faces. How delightful. I promise you will cheer someone up if you go on the ladder. Actually, everyone, your homework now. Put happy faces in the new year. Good luck, have fun, happy face. Be like Kitty. Give people one of these. I want to see that. Because I guarantee you will make someone a little bit more comfortable and happy playing on the ladder. So look at UNCger. Up to this point, he doesn't really have any units. He just has this one lone probe holding down the fort. He's building pylons. He's scouting around for expansions. He tries to get up into the main. He doesn't see it. He's building a cybernetics core because he knows that that's an important thing to get in this matchup, but we're starting to see this feeling of vulnerability he's talking about. We are actually not going to watch too much more of this game in its entirety. Here we have a Stalker and a Zealot. What happens if Roaches came up? What happens if a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings rolled into our base? We even move forward. We can't even spot anything. UNCger getting some more gateways. Looks almost like a defensive precaution, even getting the Robo Bay up. And we're going to see UNCger gear up to take an expand. And there it is. UNCger has this vulnerable period. Now, say that question out loud with me. I ended up winning, but am I actually safe before the 7.5-minute mark because I feel so vulnerable? Contrast that with the wonderful silver player Maximilian, who asked, what is the composition that I go for? I don't even know what I should be going for. The fundamental tool for improvement at any level is asking yourself questions and then trying to answer them. And the important thing is to be able to come up with a lot of questions. Notice the huge difference in sort of thinking that's going on. UNCger is worried about possibilities that didn't even end up happening in this game. He didn't say, I'm losing a lot to Roach Rushes. He's saying, I feel like I could lose to Roach Rushes, and that feels like an issue with my build. Very sophisticated thought process. Not something at all that you would think at Bronze, Silver, or Gold. Do you need to think that at Bronze, Silver, or Gold? No. No, just build probes, pylons, and a lot of stuff. What stuff? I don't know. Pick 4 things, and that's your stuff, and just build the things. Done. Easy. With our Master League friend, UNCger. For any masters aspiring to be grandmasters, I want you to listen very carefully to the following word in any of the sentences you use at any point to describe your StarCraft 2 player, or to describe your StarCraft 2 play. And that is the following word. If. That's the word. IF. 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 Very useful in the game of Scrabble. If. I want you to always be very careful of when you are using the word if. Anytime you have said the word if, I want you to go start playing in single player all by yourself to test some timings. So, for instance, what if he is going for a Roach Rush? That sentence has the word if in it. I want you to be able to say to me, a Roach Rush can come at X time. Here's a really simple one. Let's come over to here. I want to go through one exercise right now that everyone could benefit from, but especially those master players who are trying to work their way up to Grandmaster. What is my Zerg opponent doing? Actually, I want to go to 5 minutes, but in replays you can only rewind back. In 2-minute increments, which is something I know all about because I do it in my daily all the time. Right here, I don't know what Zerg's doing. I want to send out a probe to scout. And you might say, oh god, but what if he has Zergling speed and he kills it off? Seems like a very reasonable thing to say. If you're at 6 minutes, what if he has Zergling speed and I end up losing the probe? What if he has that? Let's take if from just completely out of that sentence altogether and turn it into a time. So, for instance, we see this gas geyser went down at some indeterminate time in the past. Well, I have an idea. Well, let me note for for the time being that our dastardly Zerg player ended up building this one gas geyser and canceling it. See, because he's trying to freak UNCger out. See, here's the gas geyser getting built, and then a probe leaves vision, and he cancels it. How long does it take to get speed for Zerglings? Well, I need 100 gas. So here's a fun little exercise that we do. Look at this. It is at 2200 gas right now. And we are at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's count how long it takes to get 100 gas. Whoops. Missed it a little bit. But that's okay. It looks like it's 50 seconds, but you know what? About a minute is what I'm going to say. And let's see. Zergling speed takes 110 seconds, which is like 2 minutes. And a geyser, how long does a geyser take? Oh, it takes 30 seconds. So a little less than 2 minutes to get the speed, a little less than a minute to get 100 gas, and about 30 seconds. It's about 3 minutes from the second you see a gas geyser get built to the instant Zergling speed is done. It's about 3 minutes. So, UNCger was having all these scary issues going on. Oh, what if a Baneling bust happens? What if a Roach is coming? I don't know if I'm safe against all ends. Well, let's talk about the Zergling speed problem and our scouting, right? At this point in time, let me shoot up to 6 minutes, we see 3 bases. How useful would it be to see 3 hatches this early on? It would be really useful for the master player, because now the master player knows that it is physically impossible for there to be Zerglings with speed and Roaches barreling towards the front door. That's an impossibility. You can't both expand a bunch and get ready to attack a bunch, as we can tell with a fairly broke Zerg who has no gas yet. So at this point in time, let's rewind back to the 2-minute mark. We're UNCger, we're scouting around, everything's looking good. We scout in here. Ooh, I have plenty of time. Oh, at 3 minutes, that's about when the extractor gets started. So I know I'm cool till 6 minutes. I essentially have free reign with probes to move through the middle of the map. Complete and total freedom to explore all the expansions that you so desire, up to that 6-minute mark. So suddenly, when this probe, which by the way, absolutely brilliant pylon placement, and look at this pylon timing, it actually helps us stay unsupply blocked. Love it. Actually, it looks like you built one too many pylons. But right here, when the probe dies, that probe died. It would have loved to see. UNCger would absolutely freaking love to have seen this thing. To know that this expansion is here. Does he have time to send out the probe? You betcha. Because no Zergling speed is done. These are the sorts of timings that I want you to concoct yourself if you are in Master League. I'm worried about a 1 base Roach all-in. Do it yourself and try to find when that attack reaches the door or when that attack starts leaving the door. You can open up Excel, Microsoft Excel, and start just having a list of these things. When does a Baneling bust come? Well, it comes at about this time. Just do it yourself. When does a 2-base mass Zergling all-in happen? Just do it yourself. I can tell you it ain't going to come any earlier than 6 minutes, assuming he starts the geyser at 3 minutes. So, that is so cool. That as a Master League player, all we have to do is listen for when we say if. And anytime we hear if, we know it's time to go into single player and start working on some timings. And then everyone's going to hit their New Year's resolution in 2012. In today's daily, we've gotten the chance to cover Platinum players in Part 1, Gold and Bronze. Silver and Bronze. In Part 2, we did a Diamond and a Master. In Part 3, a full gamut, all touching on slightly different issues that folks are having, so that way we can all accomplish our SC2 Year's resolutions. Ha! And it is now time for everyone's favorite part of Fun Day Monday, the announcement of next week's Fun Day Monday. It is one of, I hope it will end up being one of my favorite topics of all time. It is what I am calling a 1-2-3 for all. Ha! Remember the rule of mono battles where you can only pick one unit, and you may only make that one unit for the whole game? Very similar to a 1-2-3 for all. At the start of a 1-2-3 for all, you must publicly announce to the other players in the free-for-all what one unit you're allowed to build. Every time a player leaves the game, you may build another unit. Up to 3 units. So you start out with 4 players in the game. I will only build sentries. Another one dies. Cool, now I can add zealots. And finally, a second player dies, and you say carriers. 1-2-3 for all. Go off and play some free-for-alls. What if there's an 8-person free-for-all? You gotta stop at 3 units. You may make no more than 3 units. That's why it's a 1-2-3 for all. Isn't that awesome? Submit those replays to Monday at day9.tv and Fun Day Monday admins. Thank you so much for all your help in 2011. Hope you've had a nice break. See you in 2012. And for all you beautiful people, more wonderful announcements to come soon in 2012 in the very first few weeks. But for now, I'm off. Terran Week this week. Get ready for more Terran dailies, including that mech daily that I know that you're all so hungry to hear about. Coming up this week, 1-2-3 for all. Aw, yeah.